This past year has been absolutely amazing for you. I mean, so much has transpired. Now, walk us back to how you go from sitting on the anchor desk to now running for governor in the great state of Arizona.
This past year is like, boom, mind blowing. You think of that little emoji where the brain, mind's blowing. A year ago, I knew at that point I could no longer do the job of being a modern day journalist. I grew up, we kind of grew up at the same time going through journalism school, learning how to be a journalist was presenting the facts, both sides. Sometimes there's 3 sides or 4 sides of a story, but you keep your opinion to yourself. And it had gone so over the top, activist, that was bothering me, but I was still able to kind of hold the line and keep it steady. And then COVID struck, and I realized that there was just an agenda, and it was the whole corporate media pushing an agenda, a narrative to divide people, to hurt people, not to help people. And I realized that I didn't want to take part in that. And then the election hit, and I thought, wow, this thing's going off the cliff, and I don't want to be part of it anymore. And so I stepped away. I had no idea that when I put the video out, telling the viewers of Arizona, who I'd covered for 27 years and who I loved this state, I wanted them to know why I was leaving. I wasn't just leaving because I wanted to retire. I was resigning in protest to what the media had become, which was fake news. It had become nothing more than propaganda that was meant to divide us and hurt our communities and hurt people. And so I put that video out, and I didn't realize it would have such a huge effect on people. And it went viral immediately, and I started having Arizonans reach out and say, thank you so much for covering us so fairly. Would you consider running for office? We need honest politicians.
And what was the first thing that came in your mind when they said that?
No, I'm not running for, I don't want to be a politician. I don't want to go from, working in the corrupt news to the even more corrupt world of politics. But it wasn't just one person. It was dozens upon dozens. One night, my husband and I were walking around the neighborhood, and a car pulled up, stopped, reversed, rolled the windows down, and I thought, okay, what's going on here? And the guy said, loved watching you. You need to run for office. We need honest people. This is where the electorate is right now. They want honest people, real people running for office. And so I thought about it, and I thought, maybe this is God's calling for me. He gave me the courage to walk away. I felt that the work had become immoral and a disservice. Rather than serving the community, being in journalism became a disservice to the community. And I thought, God is tapping me on the shoulder, telling me, you need to consider this. So I did.
Well, God is tapping a lot of people on the shoulder right now because your poll numbers are just absolutely out of this world.
Unbelievable.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
I'm so excited. I mean, we started polling before we even ran, because I made the mistake. I'm a novice at politics. I've never run for office before. I'm a citizen journalist, as Ronald Reagan called it. And so I thought, I was considering running. I bought up my domain name. It's www.karilake.com.
It was available.
Yeah, it was available. But apparently people out there watched that thing. They watch it and they said, Kari Lake bought up Kari Lake for governor. I bought a bunch of them up just in case. And they caught wind of that, and that became a story. So the pollsters out there started polling me before I had even made the decision whether I wanted to run. And we were already doing really well in the polls before we even ran. Once we announced June 1st, we just took off. It was like a rocket ship. And our poll numbers have grown. In the last month, we grew 10 points. We're at 40
It was almost
points.
as if they were prescient and they could
Our
see the
closest
future.
competitors down
And they
at
prepared
9.
for this day.
The other ones
And
are
they
dropping
knew
like
that
a
our federal
rock. And it's
government had
because
become unruly,
the people of
unmanageable,
Arizona, and I think the
and
people of
fail
this
at their
country,
duties. And so
want
they stated it
real
all
people
right
running
there
for
in the
office.
US
We're tired of
Constitution.
the career
And we're gonna do
politicians,
that. We're gonna
the
invoke
lifelong
basically invoke
bureaucrats,
our
the
state
lobbyist
war powers.
lawyers, the has-beens,
Because we
running
have to.
over and over and over again.
Joe Biden's
and we
not
elect
doing it.
them and we get the same results. And we don't want that anymore.
Let's talk about the ultimate endorsement. President Trump himself has endorsed you for your campaign. Walk me back to you get a phone call, you get an email. I mean, how did this happen?
Well, I was so honored to cover President Trump. I thought he was the best president of our lifetime. And as a journalist, I recognized how amazing it was to cover a president like this who was making such a difference and changing the world in such a big way. I thought it was the honor of my lifetime to cover a president like that. But everyone around me in the world of journalism and the fake news was losing their mind over him. They missed out on an opportunity to cover an amazing president who did great things, big things for us, put America first. So I loved covering him. He gave me 2 exclusive interviews as a
Well,
journalist.
you've got the letter right here.
And then when I announce I'm running, he comes to town to do a rally. And I got a really amazing standing ovation and shout out. And I think he was impressed by that. I know he was because he told me that. So he invited us to Trump Tower. He told me that we have a really great movement. He wants to support us. And then when I got this, I got to share.
Does it get any better than that?
You know what I love though? He's such a smart man. He knows what's important to people. He recognized the fake news media. He recognized what a danger that was to our country. He talks about crime. He talks about our border, our Second Amendment, military vets, and election integrity. And he knows that I'm strong on those issues because I care about Arizona. So this is one of the greatest things ever. I got this. It came to me. He FedExed it to me, and I remember I was sitting here eating dinner with my husband right here at our kitchen table. And when I got this, I couldn't even I was stunned when I got this.
And it says, run hard. I think that's really interesting because he was a candidate at that time in 2016 and 2020 who just absolutely ran 100 miles an hour.
And we're doing that.
Didn't stop.
We're doing that. Yeah. I don't know how to be a candidate because I'm not a politician. I mean, I guess I am now. So I just covered it like I was covering the biggest breaking news story of my lifetime. And you and I can relate to that. You show up, news breaks, and you go. The news story, you keep on that until the news story's over. And so I thought it was normal to do 4, 5, 6 events in a day. And then somebody in politics said, did I hear you right? Did you say you did 4 events today or 5 events? And I go, yeah. They said, that's what you do in the last days before the general election. And we've been running that way since we started. I think in the last 24, 30 hours, we did at least
You're
6.
nonstop.
Yeah, we were at the border. We were in Tucson. We did, I think, 4 or 5 stops at the border. We did a live program with RSBN. And then we busted a move home to the Valley, and we did a Tea Party event for them tonight. So, and now it's, 10 o'clock at night,
And we're
11.
here doing some more.
And we're doing an interview.
I'm keeping you up late at
Yes.
night. You've called out the media, not just local media, obviously, but the mainstream media, and a lot of your videos, and you do interviews with MSNBC and CNN. You don't back down from those guys. How do you deal with it? I try to watch those news networks just to stay involved in what they're saying. But how do you personally deal with the attacks that the mainstream media is launching towards you? And as you know, as we get closer to 2022, it's just going to get more intense.
It's going to get bad. It's going to get really bad. I started off first thinking I don't want to talk to them. I refuse to talk to them because they're so crooked. And then I thought, well, if I don't talk to them, the public won't get my story. So I agreed to do an interview with somebody, and they asked the same question over and over and over for 5 minutes. I said, I'll give you 5 minutes of time. I was astounded. The same question they asked 5 or 6 different times.
Right.
I answered it every time, and they kept asking it. So I don't know, something inside of me said, you got to expose what these people are doing. And I guess I hit him with my best shot.
We've got a great video. You're sledgehammering TVs and things like that.
But I know how they work. I know how they operate. They never cover stories on conservatives fairly. They start off from the mode where they already don't like them and they want them to fail. I think our story is a pretty great story. I'm a regular person. I'm a mom. I'm the wife of a small business owner. I covered this state for 27 years. Now, if I were a journalist covering me or somebody like me, I would say, this is an amazing story. She walked away from a lucrative career because she's principled and she has integrity, and now she wants to run for office. There's no bias in that. That's just stating the facts. But immediately, because I'm a conservative and because I am outspoken and I support President Trump, they felt they had to attack me and they lie about me. I think it was Socrates who said 2,500 years ago, give or take 100 years, when you've lost the battle, you resort to slander. And that's what the media has done. They've lost the battle, and all they can do, all they have left in them is to slander, lie, and try to destroy people. The good news is, Brian, the public's onto it. No one's watching.
They're onto it.
I got somebody who I used to work with slipped me some of the overnight ratings. And here we have a market in Phoenix.
Sizable market.
It covers 85% of Arizona.
Right.
It's one of the greatest TV markets because it pretty much covers the whole state, which is why I've got such great name recognition and name ID. And it reaches more than 6 million people. And I got the overnight ratings, and the number one newscast at 5 p.m. reached 6,500 people. One of the news stations, and their 4 to 5 p.m. hour, had 0 viewers. People aren't watching anymore.
They're turning it off.
And they're afraid. And that's why they've got some of these liberal politicians who are now trying to push forth legislation to take our tax money and prop them up, which is appalling.
Okay, so let's fast forward to November 2022. What's your first day in office? What do you intend to do to help Arizona get back in the right direction?
We have a laundry list of things that need to be done. You know, our government is failing us, our federal government. It's become so bloated. They've taken over every aspect. They're trying to control our lives, but they're failing at the most important thing, which is stated in the U.S. Constitution, Article 4, Section 4. It's the Guarantee Clause, which is protecting us states from invasion. And I don't care if you're Democrat, Independent, Republican, not affiliated, you cannot deny that what's happening at our border is an invasion of this country. And our federal government is failing so miserably. So the day I take the oath of office, I'll have my hand on the Bible, my husband will be standing there with me. And while the press, the fake news is assembled, I will issue a declaration of invasion. We have an invasion at our border. We saw it today. We know what's happening. And this is Article 1, Section 10. Our founding fathers, it was almost as if they were prescient and they could see the future. And they prepared for this day. And they knew that our federal government would become unruly, unmanageable, and fail at their duties. And so they stated it all right there in the U.S. Constitution. And we're going to do that. We're going to basically invoke our state war powers because we have to. Joe Biden's not doing it. He's opened up the border. We saw today how the fence, the wall, the beautiful President Trump
Big, beautiful wall.
Big, beautiful wall was built in an area that, as a reporter, when I was covering this, I remember hearing experts saying, it's impossible. We can't build that wall. It's too mountainous. It's impossible. We saw it today. It was built. We were in a mountainous region today. So the media lied to us. It is possible to build the wall, and the wall does protect us. And, you know, governors of each state are actually the commander-in-chief of the National Guard of that state. And we need to ask the other states to send their National Guard in to these border states and help protect us. And form an interstate compact with other states that we take on protecting our border because the federal government's not doing it. And we're going to start a fight with the federal government. And they're going to come back and fight back. But until we do that, we will never have our state protected. And we need someone who's going to fight for this state. And we haven't had that for a long time.
Yeah. Kari Lake for governor in the great state of Arizona. Sounds pretty good.
I'm excited about it.
Got a good ring to it.
It does have a good ring to it. And, you know, we talked about this, and I have this hanging in my house. I'm so excited about it. But as much as I love President Trump, the most important endorsement is the people of Arizona. I want to know that when my days are over, that when I'm looking at my kids at the end of my days, they'll look at me and say, my mom was a great mom. My grandma was a great mom, or great grandma. Mm-hmm. And she cared about us and she cared about the state. And I want my fellow citizens to say she really cared about Arizona. That's why I'm doing this. There's no money in politics if it's done honestly. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of people making money in politics, and that's usually a big red flag that there's some corruption. I'm just doing this because I love Arizona. I don't want to have to rent a U-Haul in 2022 after the election and try to find a red state, a conservative state, a good, honest state. And we're running out of these states where freedom rings. So I'm going to do everything in my power, Brian, to save Arizona and make sure that freedom rings here.
Fist bump on freedom ring. I like that. Kari Lake for governor of Arizona.
Thank you, Brian.